the easy woman spears, for sure.
Excuse me. Did you see
There's
the
free
show?
water upstairs.
I hear Adriana's walking.
I brought some tissues in case it was emotional.
Test one, two. Good evening. I am Juanqui, and welcome to my world. And welcome to my tech talk tonight. I felt moved in my spirit to come out here and just rant, jack my mouth, okay? I said to myself, let me tell you something. Maybe somebody can take something out of this monologuing that's going to go on in a few minutes. But if anything, if somebody can just grab one little thing, then I guess it was well done, right? That's the point for doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all collectively tired. Drop a bomb on that. I know I'm not just talking about being tired because you're working, because you have to get up early. Just what's going on in our United States of America. It's beyond me. Listen, I've throughout my life, I've had periods where I feel exhausted, I feel drained, and I try to do some self-care. Like, we went yesterday and we did a little bit of retail shopping, and we're getting ready for this, vacation and the whole nine. But I feel like out of all the moments that I can remember, all the periods of history that I've been at here in the United States, I feel like this is the most draining and the most tiring that's ever been. And that should say a lot coming out of COVID. And remember, I never stopped working during COVID, meaning I was still required to go into the city. I was double masked. I was still interacting with people. People were falling out next to me, all around me. People were falling out here today, gone tomorrow, And so, and being scared of, am I going to die myself? You know what I'm saying? That was a cakewalk with what the fuck is going on now. And I've always been somebody that says, make sure that you see the glass half full and not half empty. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just looking at a glass right now. Don't ask me shit. Don't ask me if the glass is half empty or half full. I just see a plastic cup. I don't even see a glass. I see a motherfucking plastic cup. It is beyond exhausting. I look at periods of my life when I was, in college. And I was tired then because I was working and I was performing. I was, I was going to school. I was doing so much and trying to keep up and try to have a social life at the same time. So I was exhausted from that, right? Then I graduated and I don't have to juggle all these different things in the air. I can get a steady job, So I have a steady job in corporate America. I'm doing my thing. I'm living the most fabulous that I could live at that time. I felt like I had arrived with my salary and, my little bachelor pad. And I was tired then because then I was in corporate America having to deal with that red motherfucking tape, and bitches trying to hold you back. Bitches feeling threatened. Okay, especially the white women. The white women. Because at least the white men, I've been known to tell them to meet me the fuck outside at 6 o'clock and we could do it up. But no, not the white women. The white women had to be handled with kids' gloves and be prepared to be with HR crying and, the whole nine. And he was just so angry. He was just so angry at me. Oh, he was so threatening to me. I'm feeling very attacked. I'm feeling very, very threatened. Yeah, that. So then I had to deal with that whole thing and learn the ropes, and know how to do it so that I can get my monies and still get my promotions. And whenever I saw the horizon coming along and realizing that, shit wasn't going to work out, then I got my paperwork together and it was time for me to jump ship. And I've been known to look for another job for a consistent 6 to 9 months. Oh, but when that opportunity came and it was right and everything aligned, it was always another step in my career, another step in that tax bracket, another step in my social status. Now, verse 21 says, yup, them white women, honey. Oh, we know them. We know them to be... So, then we deal with all of that. Then we get to, and progressively, no job has been without fault. But I can honestly say that every job has propelled me forward, has made me better as a leader, as a supervisor, as a manager, as a director of a department. Has made me better, has taught me how to deal with them white women and also with corporate people. And, it has propelled me. But that in itself is exhausting. That in itself is having to cut my beautiful locks and my cornrows because, working in the back alley so Wall Street was not appropriate. You know what I'm saying? All of that. That was exhausting too. Then we arrived at Covisha. Bitches falling out left and right. You got to see your family members through windows and shit. The market is closed. They're rationing the toilet paper. Then you realize what you're really living with. Who's living around you. Bitches that go and try to empty the shelf. Fighting. All of that. Fraud. All fraudulent and shit. Then you really realize what society is like. Am I my brother's keeper? Fuck that brother. But what about them kids? Fuck them kids. It's every man for themselves. That's what they were portraying and shit. Lockdown. You can't go out. You can't do this. You can't do that. Everybody got to get the shot. And the booster, all of that, You can't make money if you don't get the shot and the booster and the paperwork to prove it. Cards and shit. Whole economies of scale went straight to hell. And if you don't know what that means, Google it. Economy of scale. Okay, whole businesses closed down. Family, generational businesses went straight to the fucking toilet. Everything went. And so that was exhausting in itself. How long we were in that? Like 3 or 4 years we were in that? And then we had Cheeto trying to manage. Cheeto, who told y'all to somehow, if you can inject bleach into your skin, into your veins, that's going to kill the COVID. That's what he said. I watched it with my own eyes. That's what he said. If you can inject bleach somehow, bleach into your veins. He told ya from the White House to inject bleach into your veins. And then something about UV rays to hopefully eradicate Covisha from the body. I'm telling you, I feel like I've been put in a circle, and it's a bunch of with bats and knuckles and all of that, men and women, and they just giving it to me from every motherfucking direction. I mean, I'm talking about a bat, bat to the face, brass knuckles to the back of the head, Narish 21. Don't go down the OnlyFans path. That's not what I meant. I meant like what would that be considered? A gang bang? Not a gang bang. A ganger banger. A gang initiation. What are they initiating? What when they put you in the circle. And you get it 360 degrees from all around. You're getting it from all around Area 21. What would that be called? A gang banger? A gang bang? What? That. Okay, that. Just go ahead. Just slap me. Just go. You upstairs. Just come out here and slap me. Okay? We get through that, and now we're dealing with this war. Is America great again yet? When we are fighting with nations that did nothing to us. Back when I was in Puerto Rico, my father used to listen to a lot of Discovery. Jumped in. There you go. Jumped in. I've been jumped the fuck in. I don't want to be part of this gang. So back when I was, younger, my father used to listen to a lot of History Channel and Discovery Channel in Puerto Rico, right? And that shit used to terrorize me because they used to do like a Nostradamus marathon, right? About the predictions that Nostradamus made about, he was like, the East is going to meet with the West, and then the Antichrist was born already, and, the twins are going to come down, and, everybody always thought that it was like the Twin Towers, that the Twin Towers were going to come down and all that. And so, through my father, I learned a lot about Nostradamus and his predictions, right? And we always revisit them and see what has happened or what has not happened or whatever. But there was always this notion of the Antichrist, the Antichrist. And a lot of people thought that, of course, the black man who got hired for the job, who was the most qualified and got hired for the highest position in the United States, they said that he was the Antichrist. Because, black is always evil, right? But now when I reflect on it, I'm like, oh God, maybe this is the time. Maybe this is the time. This whole alliance with Israel, I don't like that man. I don't care for that man. Even when I was in high school learning about him and in college, he has been known for getting people in some motherfucking shit. He has always ran out and cried wolf, and the weapons of mass destruction and the nuclear power and the nuclear. And every time there's been, they destroyed a country or a piece of land or whatever, they never find the motherfucking nukes. Look at the shit that they got the United States into, because of course we have a Cheeto up in there who's highly, highly unqualified, senile, and it's closer to the grave than to, sunrises, closer to sunsets than sunrises. Okay? And gets us in this whole fucking shit. Has his son-in-law negotiating as if the son-in-law had the tact or the credentials or the history, the pedigree, to be able to rationalize and negotiate on behalf of the country. When I tell you I am motherfucking exhausted, and I'm not even fully intaking everything that's out there to be intaken. I'm just, like I said, I see the motherfucking plastic cup. I'm not gonna even give you a glass. It's not half empty. It ain't half full. It ain't got nothing inside. It's a plastic cup. At the end of the club, at the end of the night in the club, all them red cups on the floor, just like motherfucking that. And and I'm always been an advocate for self-care. Always. I work hard, went on great vacations. I used to have a standing appointment where I would do my reflexology, my feet to align my chakras and the whole nine. I did that for several years. Or I would be, through performing, I also was able to get a lot of, tension out and always doing something creative, something. There is nothing I can do now. But I am aware and I do understand that it is highly, highly important that we have an outlet and that we do what we have to do so that we can keep sane. I think what I'm doing now is I focus more on my walking. I walk around. I take a power walk every morning. Sometimes I treat myself to a Starbucks, though them fucking Starbucks are not good for you. The Starbucks is a Dunkin' Donuts, so much sugar in that shit. But that's the one thing that I'm doing. I'm staying consistent with walking. It helps me. And I put on my headphones. I blast some Broadway soundtracks, and I take a nice 30-minute walk. I try to do that every day. Now with the pollen falling, it's a little bit challenging because I feel the pollen, so I gotta stick the allergy pill, which makes me drowsy, and then I'm walking around drowsy. Lord, God forbid a car comes and I throw myself in front of it. But until we can walk, drive, or take a Uber to the voting place, we need to and cast our votes in person because they're trying everything and anything. And if you don't want to deal with the crowds, make sure you're there as soon as they open. That's what Incredible Hulk and I always do. We show up as soon as they're opening. The ladies are taking the little chains off the locks and shit. We're right there in the parking lot. Oh, don't worry about it, miss. We'll be right here when you're ready. We're the first ones. We're here. You know what I'm saying? Until we get to that point, midterms and then the big one, we have to try to take care of ourselves. Let me tell you, if COVID was population control, if COVID was population control with the virus, right now they want to do population control through the elimination of social services, social programs, through making everything very expensive that you can't even shop at the stores. I went shopping for food and I was shocked and appalled. What I usually am able to get with a certain amount, it went nowhere. I'm like, I don't see the bags. I don't see the bags. And let's not even start talking about how I had to put $65 on the Lexus to fill it up. Drop a bomb on that. And then on another level, they cut a lot of programs that are needed in the community, such as the Head Starts. They want to take childcare away. They did a lot of fucking overhaul of the fucking insurance, health insurance. And most people have trash for health insurance. Trash. And a lot of people have lost their health insurance. I know people that are chronically ill that have lost their health insurance. They cannot get any treatments at all. If that is not population control at a whole other level, I don't know what the fuck is. Very draining, very, very tiring, very taxing. They're doing a number on everybody. And so, I'm not going to be fake and phony and come up here and be like, oh yes, because, some YouTubers get up here and they just always want to paint a picture of perfection and happiness and And y'all don't get that over here. Y'all get however I'm feeling. And today I'm motherfucking tired. At the start of the fucking week. I just saw on the newswire that the talks that were happening with the United States and Iran have ended up nowhere after like 20 hours of negotiation. They've both gone home now with no resolution. And of course, Orange is up there threatening to do even more bullshit, putting more American soldiers in harm's way. But my thing is, did y'all really think that the son-in-law and the other one were going to accomplish anything? Y'all really thought this administration was going to go in there and be able to peacefully broker a deal that was peaceful and make sense for the entire world? Drop a bomb on that. Absolutely not. If you had hope, you is a idiot. Because these people have constantly shown us over and over and over how unqualified they are and how they don't care about us. They don't care about this population. We're not the top percent. You understand? We're not the top percent. They have slowly eroded the middle class. The middle class. So that is just us and them up there. That's it. Us and them up there. One thing that I do stand by, just based on, I never liked motherfucking history, but I did grab a couple of things here and there of history. Every empire at some point comes tumbling down. Okay? There's always going to be a Great Depression, a Great Recession, a Renaissance, where everybody's more enlightened, then a period of great advancement. Oh, leap bounce advancement, technology, social services, humanity, the whole nine. And then y'all take 25 motherfucking steps back. As a Libra, and as the fierce Libra that I am, always in search of the proper balance, I am aware of balance. And that is something that I was able to grab from my history courses in college and also in high school, that there's always a balance. Everything that goes up is going to go back down and vice versa. The Roman Empire thought they were going to be that girl. Okay? They thought they were going to be that girl until all hell broke loose. All right? The Vatican thought they were going to have world domination with the Crusades and the religion. And look what happened. So this too shall pass. I would love to see it pass before I depart this earth. Shit. Since we endure it, we should be able to, enjoy our way out of it and celebrate and rejoice a little bit when this is all said and done. Okay? And then we just have to look in the history books to remind us of the shit. But in the meantime, I do think that it's important that we do take care of ourselves. I do think so. I am finding it hard to find the balance between everything that needs to happen and everything that I need to handle, and going with the motions of whatever comes out of that man's mouth and the house, and how to adapt and shape shift. I'm having a hard time finding that balance with just my zen and my peace, because I don't even want to be out in the motherfucking streets. Drop a bomb. I don't want to be out and about. Ain't nobody knows when it's a fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to be peaceful, at home, quiet, just waiting for everything to pass down. And, when it's time for me to take action, I'll be the first one at that polling booth or whatever, making all my selections right down the line. And that involves also my community board people, all of that, starting in the community. and working your way through up. I hope that this period of time inspires young people, and the different generations, the generations that are coming up, to really get out there and vote and make their voices heard. And I hope that they are being, their eyes are being opened. Though we know there's a whole movement. There's a whole movement where they want to bring homeboy that got slaughtered up in there. By the way, I think that was an inside job too. Drop a bomb on that. Him. Whose wife, every time she comes out, it looks like she's coming out of the WWE, Raw Night. Y'all remember Raw Night? When they used to come up with the pyrotechnics and all that, Madison Square Garden, and run to the ring with the microphone. Yeah, she looks like every time she comes out, it's a whole fucking production. She thinks she Beyonce up there. That white woman thinks she Beyonce. She gotta have the pyro. Girl. I heard of people grieve differently, but you not grieving, girl. You celebrating. That bitch is celebrating right before our eyes. That whore is right before our eyes celebrating in her tour and shit. Well, they want to open up a chapter of that in every single high school, because according to her, she told a whole bunch of white men, young white men, that they are important, don't change who you are, that you are under attack. That's what she said. In true white whore fashion. Okay? At least God has afforded me the opportunity to see and take in and learn and decide how to move and how to carry myself. Okay? At least I'm still here. Shout out to Trisha Campbell. Still here. But can we please get to the final scene of this whole motherfucking production? I'm ready to walk out of this fucking theater and go to the bar, have a drink, and then go catch a better show. My God. Can we please get to the final number? I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready. Yes. This, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what this was, but I gotta say, I thoroughly unloaded on y'all. Sometimes you just gotta get up there and do your own motherfucking tech talk. Which, by the way, I've had friends that done the tech talk, mentors and people that I've known. It's so weird seeing people that you grew up with or that you know history with, and they go up there and they start telling these stories, and you're just like, oh wow, really? Oh, that's not how I remember it. But okay, girl, go on. But sometimes you just gotta vent and rant, and I just needed to get this out. If you got a little something out of it, then by all means, thank you. If you didn't get nothing out of it, then by all means, replay it again and see if you could get a little something. And if not, I challenge you to come back tomorrow and see if you get something back from tomorrow's video. But with that said, I want to thank everybody who came through. I want to wish everybody a good start of the week, productive start of the week. This too shall pass. Still I rise. I may walk down the street with my hips left to right, and still I rise. Dr. Maya Angelou. No, I can't even channel Maya right now. Anyway, I want to thank everybody who came through. I will see you guys tomorrow. We do this every single night. It's true. It's true. Be safe. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.